The following may contain language that is not suitable for all audiences. It's going to be about that time. Wow, that was a real whippy start.
Shut up.
Anyway, did you have something? What were we going to talk about today?
No, I just have that thing about people who accommodate idiots.
Hey, isn't it New Year's?
That's almost New Year's.
Or it will be New Year's by the time.
Yes.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
So.
I'm going to sneeze.
What a letdown. So, what was that thing about the accommodating the idiots?
Well, it's just something that I notice a lot in LA. There's always that person that lets in the people that are doing something illegally.
Or not illegally, just kind of dumbly.
Or coming from a lane where they're supposed to be taking a left, going straight, and then there's always that person that lets all those illegal drivers in. To inconvenience everybody else.
I don't know that I'd call that illegal. I mean,
it is illegal. If they're in a left-turning lane, they're supposed to be taking a left.
And they decide not to turn left?
No, because they're skipping in front of everybody who's waiting.
Okay.
You know, so you got a lane where everybody's going straight to take the turn.
Oh, and snake in?
Yeah, snaking in, and then you got that one person that always lets all those snakers in, and then people who's sitting there in line miss the light. And I'm like, and they feel like they're doing a good deed, right? And I'm like, you're basically inconveniencing everybody else. So, should we be accommodating the idiots?
I think the more important question is, why is it okay when one person does it, when you yourself do it, but when you see other people do it, it gets real. Then it gets real. Right?
Oh, when you do the illegal thing?
Well, it's not even illegal, okay? So
it is illegal.
It's only malum prohibitum.
There's that term again.
Huh?
There you go, using that term again.
I love that term. It makes me sound quite erudite.
You mean, what does malum mean?
Bad.
And prohibitum is prohibited?
Yeah, so it's only bad because it's prohibited. It's not like malum in se, which is bad in its own right.
Well, there's road rules for a reason. You're supposed to abide by the road rules.
Yeah, but this kind of gets onto the whole hypocrisy thing. And, because I don't know that hypocrisy is the correct term for it, but it is. It seems like it is. And we're seeing a lot of it, especially among the elected folks who tell people not to go out and do stuff, and then they turn around and do that stuff.
Oh, people are still talking about that Newsom dinner.
Yeah.
Like it's something like astonishing.
Well, the latest casualty was, what's that woman's name? Deborah Bricks or whatever?
Who's she?
She was on the coronavirus task force for the feds.
In California or just in Washington?
The feds.
Oh, so in D.C. then.
Right. And she was hoping to get a position with the Joe Biden administration.
Uh-huh.
But for Thanksgiving, it turned out that, because she was talking about how, she was saying don't travel for anything and only stay with people in your own household.
Right.
And so apparently she went to Delaware at one of her vacation homes, or her vacation home.
And had a big party?
Well, with members of her family who lived in different households, but she said was in her own household.
Uh-huh.
And she got, I guess it came out, and she's been getting hammered and whatnot over it, so she's resigning or retiring.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess she don't get to be part of the Joe Biden.
Oh, speaking of appointments, so guess who missed out? The mayor of LA.
I didn't think that he was ever going to get an appointment in the first
place. I think he probably did.
Really?
Yeah, because he went into bat big time for Biden and co. So isn't that the deal? You go into bat and then you get the position.
Or you get a position.
Well, he said he got offered a position. But then when they pushed him on it in the press conference and said, what was that? He was like, I'm going to reserve, take my own counsel or reserve, counsel as to what was discussed. Like, he didn't answer the question.
Okay.
And the pundits, the general, I think the general opinion from the pundits is that he's just his track record is just so bad that there's just too much. But I'm glad. No, you know what? I'm in two minds because I'm like, at least if he'd got a position, he wouldn't be mayor anymore.
I don't know that it really matters. I mean,
you mean who the mayor is?
Well, people try to all the non popular media folks are going off. Well, even some of the popular media folks are going off about how California is basically a one-party state and it's horrible this and horrible that. And
is it really a one-party state, really, though?
Yes.
Because I think that
the Democratic Party has a supermajority.
But I think probably that the Republicans got a lot more votes than. Well, I don't
really care, but I don't really care about that. But the thing that I kind of come back to is, especially if you live here, I don't think that you can blame the Democrats and their supermajority and all the stuff that they do, because chances are you're voting for them, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent about how that may or may not be
a legitimate vote,
or that it may or may not, count. But the Democratic Party is well ensconced in California politics, and there are tons of explanations that people come up with, and I really don't care about that either.
The explanations?
No.
Why not?
Why are you so surprised?
I don't know. I mean, isn't that important?
The reason?
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
Well, why don't you care? I guess is a better question.
Because I don't really think it matters. We all like to joke, or I like to joke about how it's a uniparty. It doesn't really matter. It's kind of funny how there always has to be like two sides and everything. Why does it has to be two parties? I mean, that's tradition.
Yes. Because then it would be just like it'd be a dictatorship, wouldn't it, if there was one party?
Well, it is, isn't it?
No, there's two parties. You
Not
have
here.
to have somebody else to vote for.
Not in this.
Oh, you mean in California?
Right, but that whole statement, you have to have someone else to vote for, that seems more and more, if you follow along with the controlled opposition crowd, that, it's like,
I hate the fact that, like, during the election every 4 years, like, they call California. This year, I think Fox called California within 35 minutes or something. It was, like, ridiculous.
You could probably call it within 35 seconds. I mean,
it's just like, ugh.
California used to be more competitive, I suppose, but...
And then I think they called Arizona within 90 minutes. It's just like, good Lord.
Yeah, again, just all that stuff. I mean, people are trying to find reasons. Like, there were some Supreme Court decisions that came out, I guess last year, that I was kind of excited about. Because, I'm one of those idiotic idealists that think rule of law actually means something. Probably because I'm not in power. But then a buddy of mine who's well into the cloud world theories, the controlled opposition theories, all the theories that you can be into, he's into.
So controlled opposition means they're not real opposition, right?
Right. And he was all like, it really doesn't matter.
It's all fake.
And it burst my bubble, but then I thought about it and I was like, oh, shoot, you're probably right.
So if you say controlled opposition, anybody that's like following that stuff will know exactly what you're talking about.
Sure, and if they don't, then,
they can Google it?
I said, don't Google it, go look for it. Screw giving Alphabet any more money.
Go look for it. We're going to look for it. Every library's closed.
There are ways to find stuff.
How?
There are other search engines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Okay, I get that. I thought you meant like not on the internet. I'm like, what are you going to do? Just go to the street and be like, hey, so can anybody tell me what controlled opposition means?
Hell, even on the internet. I mean, I love... Yeah, the whole hypocrisy. I love the whole rule of law thing, right? Because people are talking about rule of law, rule of law, rule of law. And whenever it comes time to have the rule of law applied to them, they're just like, nope. It was a conspiracy. It was a Russian intervention. It was a spy.
Everybody
I
jumped.
was set up.
Dude, it was like lockstep. Every conservative fucking, because I listen to conservative radio, and they were all like, "Oh, you got to abide by the rule of law. We got to respect the laws, and irrespective of what you think about these election results, you got to respect the laws." I'm like, what the fuck?
I think that's just kind of code, if you will, to tell people to sit down and shut up.
So they're all in it. They're all in the same basket.
Well, none of those fuckers are having a hard time.
They've all been still on the radio, on the TV.
Economically, I mean.
Presumably getting their same salaries.
So yeah, the rule of law crowd, that just kind of cracks me up, because I recently heard something about, because there's absolutely no evidence of fraud and whatever, and the votes, everything should stay as it is.
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess someone in Iowa who was a Democrat lost their race and is appealing to a court to say, you just need to overturn this decision because there was just wrong shit going on. And all of a sudden everybody's like, not everybody, but there are a lot of people going, yeah! And I'm sitting there going, whoa. What happened when the guy that you didn't like was saying that? And it's all, no, you can't do that. Rule of law, the court can't do that. Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. But now it's someone else. They're like, oh, yeah, it really should happen that way. And,
Dude, people suck.
Yeah, that may be. But my big question is, why is it so easy to see hypocrisy in someone else and not yourself? I mean, if you want to go biblical, why is it so easy to see the splinter in your brother's eye, but not notice the plank in your own?
That's a good one. I don't know.
Is that Mark or Matthew?
It's probably Matthew.
It's one of the synoptic gospels. I was about to put an R in there.
Wait, is the four of them the synoptics?
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, yes.
What about Mary and Judas?
They don't have a gospel in the New Testament.
I know. There are gospels, but they're,
Well, yeah, but, the early church decided on which books won.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't it in Rome they decided it?
I don't know where it was, man. I'm not a
theologist?
Church scholar.
Maybe you should be.
Why?
I don't know. You'd be a good scholar.
I don't know. I don't think I'd be a very good scholar.
Why?
Because as much as it pains me, it goes against everything in my stereotypical makeup. But I really just don't like authority.
Well, yeah, that much I already knew.
And the funny
thing... You don't
thing,
like any kind of authority.
But the funny thing is that I used to think that I was just very, very snap to with authority.
What do you mean snap to? You mean like you respected it?
Well, I used to think that I would be a real, I guess, I don't know if you want to say it meanly, a lackey, but someone who respects authority. Yeah, someone who defers to authority.
Well, often you'll abide by the rules.
But that's not really loving authority. Like,
but part of it is
like I never really got good grades because I really didn't like the shit that the teachers were spewing.
Oh.
But it wasn't because I was dumb. It was because I wasn't.
So you didn't regurgitate what you thought they wanted to hear?
I did if I needed an A. I mean, it's not, not
must be nice.
Not to toot my own horn here.
Mr. fucking genius over here.
I'm not a genius. It's, not to toot my own horn, but yeah, I could make superior grades at will almost.
Yeah, Mr. Genius.
But
some of us were like trying really, really hard and getting a B-.
I often did not. But I guess we've rambled on enough.
No. What? No, finish what you're talking about.
No, but I realized that how much. I mean, I like to use the term contrarian, but that's not necessarily me.
Mm-hmm.
I like to argue with people. Just
no
because.
Shit.
But
sometimes I'm just like, shut up, Dave.
Okay, yeah.
When I can tell that somebody's just going to be pissed off.
But yeah, I'm just. It's not like I've got I guess I do have a rebellious streak, right? I don't like authority. You need to prove it.
So here's a question for you, and this is like a
non-rhetorical question.
This is speaking of authority. So here we are in California. Businesses any business that's not, any restaurant or bar that's not already dead is probably going to be dead really soon.
Yeah.
Why are people still just sitting there and not, why is there no fucking mass demonstrations going on right now? Especially people that have lost their livelihood, right? I mean, I'm surprised there's not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people marching.
It could be a combination of stuff. You know, they could be hoping that someone's going to give them a handout. The government.
$600.
Yeah, that's not going to do anything. $600, which the Democrats were talking about how great it was and how it's going to help everybody. And then, you know, I'm talking about Nancy Pelosi. And the reason why that seems kind of hollow is because when there was a tax cut that netted people like $1,000, she was all like, "That's a pittance."
A pittance. Yeah.
And I suppose if I had a $24,000 refrigerator, I would think that's a pittance.
Yeah, I saw a meme on Instagram of like, it was like Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi doing it was like a really bad fist bump. Like she was doing the elbow and he was kind of half doing his hand.
Oh.
And they were talking about, oh yeah, that's so great. Thank you for the $600, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, but they're the establishment. I think for the next podcast I want to talk about populism.
Okay.
But it's not going to go very far because it never does. because I don't have the brain power.
So how is it that you've got every other country where people have been getting literally like $1,500 a month for like months and months, and the best that America can do is $1,200 over 32 weeks?
I would like to know who's paying for that $1,500 because it very well likely could be us.
Could be America.
Yeah,
that's true.
But you know, it's just kind of funny.
Because as far as I can tell, America's the only country where it's basically like, if you're not working, you're fucked.
I think that has both good and bad, but because, and the reason why I don't think it's necessarily that bad is because the only people I want to depend on are my family. They're the ones that have any kind of investment in me doing better than average.
That makes sense.
You know, not somebody sitting, I don't care how big your heart is, but if you're sitting in a government office somewhere, you know, you can tell me you care till the cows come home. But if that person has a family and it's a choice between me and their family, they're going to find a way.
Right.
To divert something to their family.
Of course.
And
like that, if nobody else would do anything other than that.
And this whole idea that, no, you have to be able to depend on government, because what about those people without families? As harsh and flippant, and this is a flippant statement, and I hate flippant statements even when they're true, that, you know, the family, I don't even want to say tough, but, you know, if someone don't have a family, it shouldn't be up to the government to give them stuff, because a government has its own interest and you aren't it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's all I want to say about that. A la Forrest Gump.